I'm very aware of my own mechanics are like by far the like on one of those like maps where you like where they like show like what you're good at, what you're bad at. I'm like a zero. There's like no bar at all.
Is this just one of those things where it's just, you know, if you're not in jungle, are you just like a total liability? Because we only have so much information that we can retain and actively utilize, right? Like regardless of your skill capability. So if I throw you an AD carry, I cannot imagine you're going to be very effective.
Oh, I'll be super effective at dodging the game immediately. You will never see me as AD carry. It won't happen. It will not happen.
I thought you were going to be super confident.
No. I'm very aware of my own abilities. Mechanics are like by far the like on one of those like maps where you like where they like show like what you're good at, what you're bad at. I'm like a zero. There's like no bar at all on my mechanics. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but it's definitely the weakest part about me. So yeah, you won't see me ever play bot lane, which I think is a heavy AD carry, or sorry, heavy mechanically intensive role.
Yeah, the reason I bring it up is because what if you were a newer player? Because like I've been coaching these guys now, and I've been just yelling at them. Like I told them, you know, week 2, because this thing's a 3-week thing. Like, okay, so week 1, I was setting up the app and I was setting up my shit, and then I was like, okay, week 2, I'm gonna start tightening the noose a little bit. Now, if I saw anybody in my boot camp with like more than 3 champions on their main role, I would immediately like first I would not even help them. Like if I just randomly pulled them from the boot camp to like give coaching or advice and I saw that, I would literally skip and be like, yep, I'm not looking at this. What advice would you give lower elo junglers that want to get to this? Is this necessary?
No. It actually I actually so right now I consider myself in my like hard challenger grind, and my strategy is actually I've got like a 3 to 4 champion pool strategy, and even that's maybe bigger than it needs to be. But I really only play my goal is if I'm first pick and Hecarim isn't banned, then I don't ban Hecarim and I try to get Hecarim. That's my number one priority every single lobby. If that doesn't go through, 50% of the time we don't have first pick. So then my picks that I'm going are Nocturne, Fiddlesticks, or Ivern, depending on the comp. And that's pretty much it. Like every once in a while, I'll throw in like a random Nunu or Rek'Sai game because I'm comfortable on those champions. But generally speaking, I know that it probably looks like a lot of different stuff, but like I've got my Nunu and my Rek'Sai, which I've been playing for years and years and years. So I feel really comfortable playing those whenever. But then other than that, I'm just hard focused on like 3 or 4 champs that I'm again confident in because I've played them for a while. But I think that's I think the advice you give is really good. And whenever I see people send me op.ggs for reviews, that's one of the things that I'm looking at is like how many champs are you playing? Because there's no way you can play 4 different champs like to the high level that you need to be able to climb in solo queue.
Yeah, because I've never, in a way, I think what you're doing here is impressive in the sense that there's players like you in higher elo that do. I mean, I was just using Nightblue as an example. Clearly, he's pulled it off, at least for now. But there's players around the high elo portion of the ladder like you that kind of run opposite to my theory about the game, or someone like Dopa's theory of the game, where it's like, well, I got my 3 champs, and if I ain't playing those champs, I'm probably leaving. Unless, if I get put in another role, I'll play a main that I specialize in, and that's it. So I just find it like a really fascinating data point when I see people that are able to maintain this and not really be a complete liability in terms of just champion range. Is your goal? What's your goal with the game?
Well, I would like to be able to maintain challenger and then make like highly educational content on YouTube that I think is somewhat like champion educational, like explaining how to play champions. Like that's sort of my goal. And then I also have I have competitive goals, but not like going like pro or anything like that, but like playing in like Twitch rivals, and then I play in tournaments every so often with my friends. So that's another reason why I think it's important that I'm able to play a lot of different champions.
Well, yeah, that's why I asked. Yeah,
that's a big reason, because I want to have a large enough champion pool that I'm not a liability to my team, and they can't just like open 3-ban me out and then I'm nothing. So
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes a lot more sense then, because when I, for me, it's like, well, if NEACE is climbing, he's running fucking Twisted Fate, Tryndamere, and Nocturne mid or whatever. Like, it's very binary what I do when I choose to go for like high elo, whether it be like masters or higher. It just depends on, if I turn my brain on and do it. For me, it's never been an aspiration to be a comp player. That was going to be my assumption, was like, there's no way that this guy is doing this to himself without some sort of competitive, what I mean? It's like almost torturous, because you know as well as I do. It's like, you'll go through here. Like, so when I look at your champ pool, like, I just imagine myself trying to juggle all these different things and then be like, well, I play Rek'Sai the next game, and then you just botch a play, just, you know what I'm talking about, just ever so slightly. You botch a play, and in the back of your head, that's just like that nagging feeling. It's like, if I'd been playing Rek'Sai all day, I wouldn't have fucked that play up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
That's wild. So one of the things that I really want to discuss with you today is in regards to jungle meta. What do you think right now in solo queue would be your top, we'll say top 3 solo queue? Like, you pick these champs and you play them well, you're probably gonna win.
Let's see. Technically, we just kind of had a relatively large patch. I don't know, they changed a lot of items, but I'm just gonna go off of yesterday. And that would be, I think Hecarim is sort of an obvious one for me. I think this champion's insanely broken.
Even after I guess you did just say that the patch had changed some things. Let's go ahead and do a little analysis moment here. Let's have it.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. So they lowered the movement speed bonus on his E slightly. It actually seems like relatively small, like a relatively small nerf to me. I'm not like a Hecarim expert, but it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And then they also shifted the stats on Chemtank to give a slightly lower speed boost but increase the slow. So I don't know how big of a nerf that's really going to be. It doesn't sound that bad though. So I imagine Hecarim's still probably just going to be like an S+ tier jungler that if you play him correctly, you're going to climb no matter what.
Yeah, I feel like until they hit his clear in a substantial way, because the way to knock a jungler out of viability, at least in my experience, has just been, hit their clear for the love of God. Like, stop them from, just doing whatever they want and getting to scuttle on time. And Udyr is another one. I noticed that you're not on the Udyr hype train at all, which is interesting because he is something that, I mean, if you like Hecarim, I'm surprised you don't like Udyr.
Yeah, I've played Udyr in the past. At the end of the day, another thing that I think is important to climbing is enjoying yourself and having like fun. Like, because if you're not having fun, I don't know, it's really hard to consistently stick to something and to do it. And I just don't think Udyr is a very fun champion. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he just kind of, when I play him, I feel like I farm really fast and that's it. And then like, obviously I'm annoying in team fights because I'm 2 levels above everyone and tanky, but I don't know. He just doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, this is a difference in playstyle for sure because I fucking love him.
Yeah, I feel like he's just like a boring version of Hecarim who does the exact same, like farms really, really fast. But then Hecarim has these huge AoE team fights. He can, I don't know. I love Hecarim. Yeah,
well, one of my mains is Tryndamere, and someone once said that Udyr is like the Tryndamere of the jungle. Which I could kind of see. Yeah, right? Yeah. It's like he's just kind of going over and over again, and it's like, this is reliable, like he's gonna do this majority of the time. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just a monkey and I just like pressing all the buttons really fast over and over again, and that's all I need to be satisfied as a human.
Maybe it's also possible that I just don't have enough games on Udyr. I think champions become more fun when you like have a better understanding of them, and like maybe that's just what's not clicking for me, is I just don't fully understand him. But
how do I play with Fiddle?
Oh yeah, Fiddle is also super free low.
I can't win with this fucking champion, and I think I'm just too aggro for it. Because every time I play with it, I just get frustrated that it's on my team.
Yeah, the first thing you need to do to play Fiddle is to know how to do his clear, which is like probably the hardest thing about him. Being able to do his first clear correctly, where you're like juggling all the camps to like the last second of their thing. I think the difference between somebody who can do the Fiddle clear and not do the Fiddle clear is like a 4%. Maybe that's too exaggerated, but at least a 3% like increase in win rate. Like it's so huge. It's like the difference between being at Scuttle, like essentially right when it's about to spawn, and being level 4, or like being still like about to do your Krugs or something. Like, you're just so far ahead if you can actually do the clear correctly. And then you just need to know how to not get invaded pre-6, or how to play around invades pre-6. And like if you can do those two things, oh yeah, and then maybe the third thing is knowing how to position yourself in the mid to late game, like team fights. That can be kind of awkward, but if you can do all that,
get your vision control so that you can actually
be impactful, and not just get run at and killed. Yeah. I love the chimp. I love the chimp. He works for me because, so you'll notice pretty much every champion I play is really not mechanically intensive, and Fiddlesticks is one of those. Yeah, he just can just go. It's like you need to know his combo, but once you do that, like it's not mechanically a hard combo. He has barely any skill shots. Like he's just super easy to play. I think pretty much anybody can play him. The only the mechanically intensive thing about him is his clear, but anybody could probably pick up the clear eventually.
This week is I'm making my boot campers clear with Mundo. And the logic here is that, you know, they're going to start chickens. They're going to work their way down and do the little reset clear, right? Where you go like chickens down and then reset and then work your way up to blue or whatever. And the funny thing is I did it 3 times and I got 309 is my best, right? I know that could be faster, but I was just like, okay, you guys need to do at least a 309 with 3 tries. If you can do that, then you're on Scuttle, right? It's like, then you're on Scuttle and then you can actually play the jungle, play the role. So like, I don't think when you talk about clearing on Fiddle and how important it is to be there on time, like you were like, it's a 4 or 5%. Dude, I think it's like a 10% win rate increase. Like, I think it's so important.
Yeah, you might be right. Like when you compare, like there's probably like a 400 LP difference or something crazy. Like I don't know. It's weird because in low elo people like don't clear correctly, so they're not where they're supposed to be. So they probably don't pay as much attention. But in really high elo where everybody's clearing how they should be, like being where you're supposed to be at the right time is just so enormous. And yeah, you can be many camps ahead of your opponent if you're clearing the way you're supposed to in like gold or something.
Yeah, like I have do you know Phalaris? Because you did this thing. I saw your video. I'm gonna pull this up. I don't know. First off, we gotta have a conversation about because I know you're into content and I've been doing this for years, and I will gladly, I mean, you're not asking for advice. It's like unsolicited advice, but I do coaching for a living, so I can't help myself. This is what gets me in trouble in solo queue is I'm like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You know, it's like, bro, NEACE trying to coach me instead of play. But like, we have a conversation about efficiency of content, because this is this is a monumental thing that you did. And you, honestly, you could have broken this down into like each champion and released a video daily. Yeah. And you tortured yourself for one fucking video.
Well, I was hoping to make like sort of a collective thing that people can use and like refer back to, like, and just to give you an idea that you can pull it up. And it was heavily inspired by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Phalaris.
I told him he's actually one of my coaches on my site now.
Really?
I told him.
Awesome.
Yeah, I told him that his name sounds like an STD, so I totally understand.
yeah.
I get it.
I tried to shout him out a lot in my thing, because I used his clears for a lot of them. I didn't do them as well as he did them, but his are insane. Like,
yeah, some of them he does, and some of them he got from other people too. I think he's got OCD or something, because he definitely, it was so weird, because when I started doing the coaching, like, because I transitioned into live coaching like 7 or 8, 9 months ago, full time. Like I switched over and I just realized that there was a place for me to do this type of job. And I was like, okay, cool. I happen to be good at it, so I'm just going to do it. I went into the jungle and it was like, it never dawned on me how bad my clears, I knew the concept of like clearing fast. But like when I actually went to look at these clears, I was like, oh my God, I'm garbage at the game. It's like, holy shit, I'm like 10 seconds slower than like the best times. What the hell is this? And it was like every champion. You ever play those games with like a leaderboard?
Yes.
Like you're like, oh, I got this awesome score. I'll just use an example, like one of those games where like Angry Birds or something. It's like you play the game and you're like, yeah, I'm so good. And then you go to a leaderboard and it's like you see your I don't know, your region leaderboard and you're like 8,976. You have placed 8,976 and you're like, holy shit, I'm this bad?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's how I felt with the jungle clears.
A wake-up call, yeah. It really is a big deal. I want to use an example really quickly. There was I played in like a tournament this weekend, and I was actually playing against Mike Young, who you probably know who that is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he was playing Udyr, and he was like 10 seconds behind where he was supposed to be in his clear. And like I thought it was weird because I know he plays Udyr, and I went back and watched his stream, and you play Udyr, so he didn't like use his Q level 1, like he didn't use it before his camp started level 1, and then and I'm sure he did some other stuff wrong too, but yeah, he didn't get to Scuttle Crab until like 325 or something, and like I was where I was supposed to be at the right time as Hecarim, and like his bot lane engaged and he wasn't there and I was, and we just like won the game off of that. And like you really can win and lose games off of just being
that's what I'm trying to say. That's a good story too, because it's like that's all it takes is like you botch the clear, and it's like a dance. It's like you're out of step or something. It's like you're out of formation. It's like you're just not there. And all of a sudden the whole game is lopsided now. And Flars talked about this. I had him on last week. It was like, you botch one clear, so now your second clear slower. And that's just compounding on itself. The amount of gold you're getting slower. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And it happens so quickly. And all it takes is just you getting out of rhythm just for a moment. And it's like, oh, it's all over, dude. That's funny though. He probably didn't practice the clear much, is what it sounds like. He probably just went into it and.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I was like, the whole time I was on comms, I was like, okay, he should be right here right now, and then he just like wasn't, and it was weird. And I don't know. I actually do, because again, I am a no mechanic player. Like I live and die by the champions that are meta sometimes, and right now it's a really great meta for me. I can play a bunch of different champions. They're all good, and that's just as far as the champions go. I don't know how much. Yeah, I guess I don't. Nothing else really bothers me too much about what's going on right now with like the jungle XP changes and like ganking more, stuff like that. I don't sweat that stuff too much. I just don't really think about it, to be entirely honest.
I was dabbling a little bit in jungle on EU West at the start of the season when they announced that because I was trying, just for sport, I was trying to get to Masters in the jungle on EU West, with high ping, just for, bragging rights really. But I haven't really been able to keep up with that. But I noticed that when they talked about, they were doing all these changes to the jungle and making it so that you lost out on XP. I thought it was like doomsday for a lot of these champions, but in reality, champions like Hecarim, like Udyr, these champions that were already doing well, they just kept doing well. What do you think is the reason that these champions have shown up so hard this year? Because I don't recall, like Udyr was like, there was a guy on EUS who was in my stream, was like, Udyr's the shit, I made Challenger with it. There was one guy in EUS who did it, but generally like Udyr was not being played, and Hecarim was kind of being played, I guess, but like not to the degree that he is right now.
I'm guessing that Chem Tank certainly has a lot to do with it. I think that item shores up like a lot of champions' weaknesses, like Udyr's. I mean, I know that there are other versions of Udyr that are good too, so this argument doesn't hold 100%, but I think that certainly helps a lot. And gosh, I don't know. They make so many changes to this game that sometimes it's hard to, like, in my mind, chronologically remember them all and like really,
of course,
like figure out why we are where we are. But I don't know. I mean, you just the way everything seems to work these days, you can power farm and just be ahead of everyone. And
the Mundo showed up too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I really enjoy Mundo. I think he can be fun. So I'm cool with him being around too. Honestly, another literal brainless champ. Just I don't know if I. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he's just something that's like, he's the funniest champ because he was so bad. He was regarded as so bad in the jungle. It feels like not even like 2 or 3 years ago. He was regarded so badly in the jungle, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, now he can't be played top like all. Like he doesn't belong top, but now he's playing the jungle. He's actually like super viable there. It's funny to me that it actually like worked out that way. Yeah,
I try to be the hope for the people with no mechanics.
No, I like it. No, I'm not giving you enough credit on this. I sound like I'm bashing. I'm not. I actually think it's impressive. I think there's all of the champions that I've recommended to players on the boot camps, I made like a little thing and I was like, well, let's talk about champions that you should play top, mid, jungle, whatever. And one of the jungle picks was Nocturne. I saw you're playing a lot of Nocturne here on your climb, and it's like, you know, if you're playing a simple champion and you're getting to high elo with it, you could argue like, yeah, those champions are binary and they are easy to play, but you have to think about what your opponent's going to do at the level that you're playing at. Let's face it. Like, you don't get to just, you know, binary your way through it. You're layering, which is the concept that I made the whole fucking video on, or one of my videos for the boot camp. It's like, you're fighting, thinking about what your opponent's going to do. You're playing chess. I don't give a shit what you're playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's no way around it. You can't fight. Like, if I play Nidalee and you play Nocturne, you're going to know that I'm going to heal. I'll probably jump away, right? Like, you know these things, even if you're not playing the mechanically, you know, intensive champion, you have to know what they do, guys. Like, there's no way around it. Try to beat an Akali in high elo with fucking Nocturne. Like, try to, like, combo it out. and then she like fucking flies away and you ult at a dumb time, and then you just waste your ult and you look like an idiot. Like shit like that.
It's rough. It's rough. The only mechanical high mechanic thing that Nocturne really has is his W, and like knowing when to use it. And oftentimes you can just YOLO use it and you'll probably get value out of it. But other than that, yeah, he's a super simple champion, and he's really, really strong right now for anybody in the jungle trying to climb. Nocturne, really, really good with Stridebreaker.
Yeah, I enjoy him a lot. I think I learned him last year. I was playing some high elo a little bit, and I was going to do a climb with Helicopter, and we just kind of ran out of time because we were dueling together. And it was like we were queuing, because you know how it is. You queue and it's like 30-minute wait, and I was like, oh my god, I got to coach like 4 people today, and it's like, can I even do this? And then eventually we were just like, let's just stop doing this because it's a little much. And I was playing Nocturne mid. And I'm the same way. Like, I play some mechanical, like high skill stuff. So, you know, the Gangplank or like even Twisted Fate has some level of skill.
Totally.
It's like Nocturne. I enjoyed it. I just think he's a fun champion. I love when I don't have to think as hard about what I'm doing. It's great.
Then you can focus on everything else in the game. It's nice.
Yeah, for real. I mean, that is not to be. And I mean, that's a big reason why I recommend to these guys that they play the stuff that is easier so that they can just focus on the concepts. Because, dude, watching these people try to pilot, like when I pull a guy up and he tries to pilot, like you said, Lee Sin or fucking Nidalee or whatever the hell, it's like, dude, just stop.
Yeah, it's like you're doing this. You have like a huge list of mechanical stuff that they're doing wrong, and you can't even begin to talk about, like, you know, the actual game, like macro stuff that they're doing wrong. And yeah, definitely anybody trying to learn should play a super simple champion. I recommend Nunu a lot to people. Really broken, really easy to play, and you can focus on other stuff. But
yeah, Nunu is good too.
Yeah.
How do you view well, what about the criticism of like, well, if I play a Nunu, how am I gonna carry a low elo game?
Yeah, that always like something about that question. I haven't quite pinpointed it, but it just, I guess if people don't understand that they don't need to carry every game. I think feel like people don't understand that, like, in order to, like, if you're playing League of Legends, you're always going to lose. Like you can't win every single game. There's going to be games that you lose. So like people, like sure you play Nunu and you have a really good game, but you can't quote unquote carry because like whatever, your teammates aren't doing what you think that they should be doing, and you lose. And then you're like, wow, I should have played Kha'Zix so I could have quote unquote carry. But then like there'll be games where you play Kha'Zix and you don't win because like you messed up mechanically or you fell behind, where if you were just playing Nunu and you were just empowering your teammates, like you probably would have won. Like people, you don't need to quote unquote carry your games to climb. Like you really, if you just play a good champ like Nunu and you play him correctly, you'll win probably 60% of your games and you will eventually climb. Like, but that still means you're going to lose 40% of your games. You just have to accept that that it's fine that you're going to lose. Just try to learn from your losses and they're still productive. All right, I'm back.
What is your opinion of Viagra, aka VIEGO, and how he stands in the current meta?
Oh wow. First, I wasn't sure what I was going back to. Yeah. What's my opinion of VIEGO? He is like a really interesting champion, but it's like nobody plays him for some reason. And I
feel like no one play. Well, you're playing in high elo, so you're probably. I mean, people are damn near trolling if they play him jungle at least, right?
Yeah, I pretty much literally never see that champion in the jungle. Though I think the guy My Dream is LCS. I think he's like Bougie or something is his name. He's like rank 1 on the ladder right now. I know that he had an account that he played it on a lot, and he had like a 50% win rate or something for learning. I don't know. It might not be that bad, but yeah, I just never see it. Maybe there are some good matchups, but I don't see it enough to really have an opinion on it. I've been thinking about
so Doubtful's nice. I'm gonna say that it's probably dog shit. Well, just because of what you just said, right? Like if it's not showing up, it's bad.
Well, the one thing that it has going for it is that it actually does have a very fast clear. Like it can 6 camp clear. Like if you see on this video, I don't know what time I actually end up getting, but it's possible to 6 camp clear like when Scuttle spawns. So like that's like pretty cool.
Let me see this.
The trick is going. A lot of people go E second, but you actually are supposed to go W. I got this from a Folaris video, so it's probably correct. What time is it right now? Oh god, I'm nowhere near good. 3:05. Okay, I could have sworn it was possible. Maybe maybe Folaris does it like 10 times better than I do or something.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not like atrocious though.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
a 5 camp clear before Scuttle, but that's not really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this is better than what I thought it would be, but then yeah, you're basically forced to probably go to the opposite side of the Scuttle because that the guy's gonna already be done a good chance of, or a good chunk of the time. I can see he's definitely stomped sometimes in games, but like it's just it comes down to clear speed. I mean, at the end of the day, let's face it, jungle is all clear. Yeah, and either we hit our checkpoints or we don't, right? And Viagra, I'm not so sure.
I would love to see them give him a little bit of a buff. I'm kind of surprised they haven't, like for the jungle specifically, like just giving him like a little more damage to monsters or something.
Oh, I kind of hope they don't. I don't want to face this guy like every game.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting is I think I saw Tarzaned do this or something, but he goes like Ignite instead of Flash. Because if you can just get 1 kill, you can just reset with this guy and pop off. And it's got a marginally higher win rate. There's only like 700 games played, but
how do you like playing with Tarzaned, dude?
Oh, it's so much fun. Dude, it's actually awful playing with Tarzaned because I've watched his point of view of our games enough times to where I already know exactly what he's saying when I'm playing against him. And I can't help but like imagine like every time my team gets like a solo kill, I can already hear him saying, of course, fucking Doubtfull has 3 winning lanes, and like it's just it's so awful. I can't stop myself from thinking about it.
Oh god, it's so I enjoy him, man. I just get a kick out of him. I don't even hate on him because I think he's very talented, and he's just got something. He's got something in his brain. It's like and I'm one of the ragey guys. But just he goes so far above and beyond any sort of like normal level of is he still doing that shit? Because like normally when I see him, I was gonna say I feel like it's in his DNA. It's just who he is.
Yeah, I watch him every so often, because I mean he's a really good player. I think he's probably the best.
He is very good
player. Yeah, if not just best at all, like jungle wise. So it's really good to learn from him. But yeah, no, he still does it. He's still the exact same way he was like 3 years ago or so. Like it's crazy.
Let me tell you about Tarzaned. I was playing on account like he's like a year or so ago. I ran into him in mid, and he was playing I was playing my Tryndamere mid shit. It was like a year or so ago. I was playing like high elo, like challenger fucking Tryndamere mid, and I bumped into him at like 9:30. I don't know what he was doing. It was like he was playing by himself, which is actually not the norm with him back then, because he would always do it with somebody so he could shit talk you. And then this is how it is. They do it when they beat you and they shit talk you. But like I played with him, and he didn't know it was me, but I knew it was him. And I mean, he's just by himself. I must have bumped into him multiple times the same night and just talking shit every step of the way off stream. And I'm just like, this guy is so funny, because it's just I love him. I think, like I said, I think he's so good at the game, but it's so funny. I'm pretty sure what his strategy is, like his legit tactic when he plays by himself, or at least it used to be. I'm pretty sure he mutes everybody and then talks shit to everybody, like in all chat. Because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's his game plan. Because if you say anything back, he doesn't say anything. At least that's how it was. He just didn't say anything. It's like he was muting, and then it's just be like, I'm gonna flame these guys and distract them. But I actually, because you know he is that good. I'm crediting him with it being a legit strategy. Like he's so angry, that he would actually do that, and he would probably justify it to himself, because he'd be like, "Well, if I talk shit and distract them, but I can't read what they say to me, they won't distract me."
Yeah, dude, I've thought about stuff like that, like adding like a mental game to the game, like because like in other like in like card games or poker or whatever, like you can sort of like fuck with your opponent and like maybe throw them off their game, and like you don't really see that too often. I mean, people will talk shit, but that's usually because they're weird or whatever. I don't know. But like doing it as an actual strategy is like is pretty interesting to me.
Yeah,
I thought about ways to do
it. I used to do it, but all that winds up happening is if you do it, basically, the League community is weird about shit talk, though. That's another topic. This is an interesting one. The League community is very weird about shit talk, because I find that your teammates prey on your downfall when you talk shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if I'm stomping and I'm like 4-0 and I'm just like leaning into people and just like talking shit and I'm running around, like let's just say the Tryndamere mid example. So like I'm playing Tryndamere mid and I get like a solo kill or get a double kill in mid or some stupid shit. Right. And then I just go and I'm playing the game, and after every play I'm just like needling the other team over and over again. Eventually your teammates, I feel like they actively like, I don't know, it's like you distract them. Like they get complacent, and then the minute that you screw up or the minute the game goes bad, they start flaming you too, and they're like, this guy's, you see what I'm saying? The League community is weird. There's no sanctity of teammates. Like I want to be in the team where it's like everybody on my team is talking shit to the other team, but in League it's like when you really drill down into it, it's like there's always that one guy on your team that's like, well, since I'm not the carry, I'm going to pretend that I'm friends with the other team so that they like me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm not. I know I sound crazy to like the average listener, but you know in your heart, you've been playing just as long as I have. You know this is true. It's like it's like if I'm on a team in solo queue, I feel like the end goal should be, hey guys, no matter how much I hate you guys and I want you guys to fucking die by the end of this game, like I want you to win. Like I may bitch, but like I want you guys to win, and I don't give a fuck how we get there as long as we win. But there's like this weird psychological block with League players where they're like, nah, like it's not that, like I'd rather I don't know. They want to fight like ego or something. I don't know what it is. It's very weird.
No, I feel you. Probably an ego thing.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So speaking of ego things, What do you think about NA versus EU versus Korea? What do you think like the biggest reason that we just struggle? Is it just ego?
Is it just ego? You mean like competitively, right? Like why
ladder? I mean, the ladder's bad. Comp plays bad.
Yeah. I think the ladder probably has something to do with it a lot. There are probably just a bunch of different variables. It's probably not just black and white, like one thing. Like it's not just the ladder. It's not just like the ping issue that you've heard before. As someone who's never like actually played at that highest level of play, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to say. Certainly, I think a big part is that we don't actually try to bring up talent. I feel like there's no sort of try to grow. This is actually interesting. Yeah. So there's literally, or maybe it's better now, but like in the past, there was quite literally like no desire to like bring up talent whatsoever. It felt like, because there was a time where I was like top. So when I first, okay.
Oh, here
when
we
I
go.
first, yeah. Well, I'm going to start from the beginning. When I first got into League, my reason to play League was because I wanted to go pro. And like, I was literally like, first of all, anyone who's listening to this, you should never do this. But I was literally, I had peaked gold 1. Like I'd played for like a couple months and hit gold 1. And I was like, okay, I want to go pro in League. So I'm going to
natural progression, a natural go post.
Yeah. I had decayed down to like silver 2. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go hard and I'm going to go pro in League. And so I eventually, like, it took a very long time, very, very long time, like 2.5, 3 years or something. But eventually I was, fast forward, I was like top 15 in the ladder. Like, I think I peaked like rank 11 or something. I don't know. And this is like mid-season. It wasn't like early season. You know, this was like June. And never, like in all my years of being challenger, like never did anyone from NA ever talk to me or try to like, you know, like try to make me better at all. Like try to interest me, like try to teach me. Like I was completely self-taught. Like I was playing mostly one champion, which is why I think people weren't interested in me at all. But like I had no idea how to go pro from where I was, and I like actually like didn't think that I had any future, was good at the game at all, and like it caused me to quit the game because like nobody, like I wanted to go pro, but nobody wanted to talk to me or help me or give me any sort of insight. And I feel like that's a huge problem. I feel like there's probably a lot of talents that were just missed because NA is less focused on competition and more focused on, you know, the big names like Bjergsen and Double Lift and brand names and stuff like that. I don't know. You
got to make that content, buddy.
Yeah. I know that stuff now.
NA. Like, no, I just meant that's NA. That's just how it is. You know?
Oh yeah. I feel like now I know like ways that like I could have gone pro, like, but the only offers I ever got were like for LA and teams and stuff like that, which was
the LA, the LAN teams.
Yeah.
Dude, there was one. Dude, it was so funny. This was like 2 seasons back. It was like I did a LAN climb. It was like 2 or 3 seasons, and I got to rank like 30 something on LAN, and I was like climbing up. I was still going up, and then like the end of the climb, the guy, you know, the Dan Jerem guy, the Master Yi guy over there, because there's always that guy on that server. He's like he was like rank 1 Master Yi at the time. And so he's holding rank 1, and I was like catching up. I saw his streams. He kept reporting me after every game that I beat him. And so, one day I logged in because my account, dude, I don't got time. I told you my efficiency of time shit. Like I don't have time to level accounts, and I'll be the first to tell you I've sold accounts, I've boosted accounts. Fuck, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm not tied into Riot. I'm not part of the partner program. They can slob knob. The point is like I'm trying to make money at the game. Period, point blank. Any way I can. And so I was climbing on the LAN account just for fun, and I kept going because I was playing Trinity mid and I was running pretty hot. And you know how it is, even in high elo, like you could be good, but you could also just get lucky. I mean, you could just start playing, like you play well at the right time and your rank just balloons all of a sudden, and it just happens. It comes in waves, like, and then other time it'll drop down. I get up there, and then I started getting fucking emails from like LAN teams. Like they figured it out, and I was like, dude, I'm not interested. Like I've never been interested in my life of being a pro. I live in a gaming house. No, I'm good, dude. I have a wife, I have houses. Like this is not
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. This isn't happening, guys. Sorry. And it was like, it was that realization of what you just said. It was like I have never like heard of people like getting pulled from the ladder on NA.
Yeah. Maybe it happens now. Didn't happen back then ever.
Yeah, they do. What do they do now? They do scouting grounds. Scouting grounds is supposed to be a thing.
Yeah.
I can't vouch. I have no idea. I'm not good enough, nor do I have the dedication to get high enough to even be considered by scouting grounds. I'm not Panzer Dragon. I'm not gonna spend 5 years fucking whatever the hell he did.
Yeah, the rank one grind.
Yeah, like to get a call up on scouting grounds, but I don't think it's that effective because I haven't really heard of that many names.
Yeah, I can't speak to it either because I just don't pay that much attention. I know I can think of a couple people who the name Winter, there was like a support. I know it was like constantly in scouting grounds. Five Fire.
You're the second fucking guy to say Five Fire. Someone needs to draft this fucking guy.
Yeah,
Peppa said the same thing.
Yeah, he's been through. He like rolls scouting grounds every year, I think, and for some reason he's not on any kind of team. I don't know what's going on there. Like I don't know how useful it is, but
that's funny. Yeah, because Tempest said the same thing. I was like, who do you think, who's like the best mid right now on the server, and that's not like a pro? And he was like Five Fire. I was like, who the fuck is that? So it's kind of weird. I mean, what are the chances that a second person that I talked to said the same thing? So I guess he's got a lot of respect in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been playing an amateur for quite a while now, and definitely run into him.
I'm gonna get his ass in the chat. I'm gonna have him on the boot camp because I want to hear about this fucking guy. I'm gonna look up his gameplay.
He could probably have a lot of interesting stories to tell as somebody who's played in an amateur for so long.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not really the focus of the boot camp. It's like morbid curiosity, right? Like that's all it is. At that point, the boot campers are like, but what about my climb? We had Doubtfull on here. He talked about YouTube and Academy.
There's just so much interesting stuff to talk about.
No, the game is so vast and there's just so many things. All right, I should probably leave you alone though. I've been talking to you too long. I'll probably.
I should probably stream.
Yeah, the main takeaways here. What'd you say? Easy champs are not that bad because here you sit knocking on Challenger's door playing fucking Ivern and Fiddlesticks. I hate Fiddlesticks. I just lost with it before I talked to you. I was like, I hope I don't hate this guy because he plays fucking Fiddlesticks. And you said what else? Nunu, Nocturne.
Heckram's super really free dispatch.
Well, I don't know. You say Heckram's easy to play, but then I coach people and getting them to combo that I know it sounds obvious, but like they'll either run too early, so their run will time out, or then they'll R and they'll R in front of the guy, and then I have to explain the concept of like, have you ever played billiards, dude? Like you got to put the ball behind the target to make the ball go forward. Yeah, maybe if it actually did take me a little while to learn him, but maybe if they just practice in the practice tool thing, like REing a thing like over and over again, get the timing right. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I have them do. Is I like go ahead and hit the dummy, put it that way.
Like try to get it right here.
Yeah. Aim it, please. No, this was good, man. This was a lot of fun. I'll anytime, dude. Anytime you want to shoot the shit about content offline, like I'm your guy. Thanks for doing this and for chatting about just jungle stuff. I know I said I would take some questions, but then we got off the rails. But it was a lot of fun. This was a little bit more selfish of a talk, but I think it was great. And yeah, man, be in touch. All right, enjoy your stream.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for inviting me on. I had a good time.
Thank you. Peace, bro.